to the Melancholy Guy Talks Ethical Non-Monogamy. This is a companion podcast to my Tumblr blog, The Melancholy Guy, daring to be black, open, and free. The adventures of a divorced, open, polyamorous African American male. I am the Melancholy Guy, Calvin, or CPJR if you know me. And today I definitely believe that change I must or die I will. My blog can be found at melancholyguy.tumblr.com. So this show is basically broken up into three parts. Past, the polycule speaks. Present, what's up with the polycule. And future, accepting the change. Hey, welcome to the Melancholy Guy podcast once again. And this will be episode 36. And we do have an interview for the day. But I'm going to change it up a little bit. And what I'm going to do is start talking a little bit more about ethical non-monogamy due to some questions that I was getting on Facebook about, polyamory and ethical non-monogamy, because, people listen to the podcast and they aren't necessarily ethically non-monogamous. So I wanted to just go out, and talk about ethical non-monogamy from the large scale out umbrella and just bring it into where I am and where other people may be, in polyamory, relationship anarchy, don't ask, don't tells, because ethical non-monogamy is the umbrella that we all operate under, right? But first, I think I'm gonna go and I'm gonna read one thing from my blog today. It's going to be a quick entry, and this entry kind of relates to the interview I had today, and I'll talk about that in a minute from the Polycule Speaks. But it's a quick, short entry. It's entitled Relationships, posted on April 23rd, 2014. I was separated at the time, and it's a very short, one sentence. So basically it reads, we have some definite definitions on what being single and being in a relationship means, but I am no longer sure that it's as cut and dry for some of us any longer. Just musing. And that's true, especially of me and my circle. Like, what is a relationship? I've talked about it before, based on the last, I guess, entanglement that I had with someone and it didn't work out. I just didn't know what to, title it as. And I think I was right because I shouldn't have titled it as anything because it didn't last that long. But so welcome to this new section. I'm going to call it the kitchen table. So let's pull up to the kitchen table, take a seat, because I do practice kitchen table polyamory. And let's talk about ethical non-monogamy. Let's talk about what ethical non-monogamy is, what it isn't, and how it compares to just monogamy. So basically in this society, this system, we're all taught that monogamy between a man and woman or between two loving people is the goal. That is how your romantic relationships should work. That's how they should look. Basically, you should be like fidelitous emotionally and physically to one person. Hopefully you love that person. You get everything you need from that person, and you're loyal to that person. You're committed to that person, and you never will stray or be with someone else. You will not be with someone else physically or emotionally. You will always go to your monogamous partner for everything that you need as far as relationships go. That's what we're taught. Even though we see in literature, we see in practice, we see in our families that very few people successfully practice monogamy. We have people, at best, most people practice serial monogamy. Basically, they are all those things committed, fidelitous to one person at a time, meaning that As long as we agree to be, as long as we honor those monogamous agreements, we'll be together. But once one of us strays, or we decide that we don't want to be monogamous with each other anymore, we will break that agreement, and then we'll find someone else to be monogamous with. So basically, what we see most of the time is actually serial monogamy, right? Which is okay. That's actually it used to be really bad, but now it's more accepted. I mean, basically, we're more open to multiple sex partners. We're more open to divorce. We're more open to, moving along. So what's built into both monogamy and serial monogamy is cheating. That's something that's supposedly not supposed to happen, but it happens a lot. So that's where I differ from people that are in monogamous relationships. So I basically don't believe that anything that is inherently going to cause you to cheat, cause you to lie, cause you to break trust, you shouldn't do. Can I say the majority of people don't break trust? Probably so. I don't have the slightest idea, but we know it happens. It's written in literature. It's written in our media. We see it almost every day that a lot of people do cheat, yet we still preach monogamy as the goal, as the gold standard, the gold image, as I say in my field of work. That's what we go for, monogamy. But cheating is part of it. Because we have divorce courts, we have divorce lawyers, we have a divorce industry, we have a counseling industry based on keeping people together after cheating happens. So therefore, cheating is, for me, is built into monogamy. So now we have people embracing what's called ethical non-monogamy, which takes into account that you may still want to be committed to a person or persons. You may still want to honor some things that monogamy honors, such as we're going to buy a house together, we're going to live together, we're going to take care of each other, we're going to help each other grow, we're going to raise children together. But what we're not going to do is we're not going to lie to each other and tell each other that I only have eyes for you. I only want to have sex with you, and I only want to, entrust all my emotional baggage with you. I want to spread it around to other people. I want to be able to grow and see how this thing works if we're able to honestly talk to each other and express our desires to each other without fear of being rejected, without fear of blowing up. If I say, hey, I like this woman at work, I want to go on a date, that happens. But then you can't say that in a relationship if you're honoring monogamy. So it's the ability, what I see ethical non-monogamy is the ability to craft a relationship that works for you and your partner or partners. There's an excellent book that's, I've said it before, it's called Design of Relationships, and I always recommend that book to anyone who is thinking about ethical non-monogamy because it talks more than just about polyamory. For some reason, we have taken the umbrella of ethical non-monogamy, and we've shrunk it down to polyamory, and everyone's coming in thinking that polyamory is the goal and it's what you should be, and it's not actually. I wish I could just be ethically non-monogamous. I'd rather go back out and just embrace everything, but then I know from the very beginning, for me, I saw that polyamory was the thing that I wanted. Is the emotional intimacy, the emotional connections of multiple people or just being open to that, not necessarily the sexual connections. If you listen to some earlier podcasts, you'll see why I went into swinging and what that was about. It wasn't about just going into, sex and swinger clubs, which was fun, but ultimately it wasn't as fulfilling for me as I thought it would be. Now, okay, so that's it for today. I'm gonna leave that there. So, I'm gonna talk about the person I have coming to the Polycule Speaks today. She's someone that I've known. We're gonna call her Kay for this show. That's not her real name. I've known her for a while through Facebook. We've never met, but we have many same friends. We have many friends in common, and we actually dated one of her friends while I was still married. Actually, she's somebody, and you'll hear in the conversation, who was able to make references and knew me when I was married. So it'll be interesting to hear her perspective, or what she thought about when I was married and how she felt about the divorce. Because there are a lot of people that, well, not a lot. There are some people that in our little, Facebook community polyamory thing that have gotten divorced. Divorce is something that happens. And for me, if divorce, do I want to say my divorce was a good thing? At this point, I probably would say, yeah. I mean, I'm happy. I got a job. I'm start work on Thursday. I go to New York, and I'm excited about that. But can I say that I think that my divorce was a good thing? I think yes, because I think that we both are able to go for what we really wanted. I think that at the time that we were married and what we were going through was perfect for that time. But I think it was just part of our process to get to where we're going. And I think that if I'm able to look at all my relationships going forward like that, then I don't have to worry about, going through these big dramatic breakups like I went through last year. I kind of was resisting the change. I kind of wanted to rest in that relationship, and I didn't see the relationship for what it was for. And that was actually to get me out of the groups, to get me to move on from that place that I knew I should have moved from and left, but I didn't. It was pivotal into getting me here. So I'm grateful for that relationship. Like I'm grateful for all the relationships that I've had, and I'm grateful for this relationship with the young lady. We'll call her Kay, that is on the show. So it's about 40-minute interview. We kind of went long because we kind of knew each other and kind of went into some areas that only people that know each other will go into. But she'll hear she's polyamorous. That's why I read that blog entry today about relationships. We don't know what they are, because it took some actual just time to get her to say, yes, I'm polyamorous, or polyamory is what I want, because she hadn't actually sat down and thought about it. And I think that's important, that people that are coming into, ethical non-monogamy, whatever it is, just take some time to sit down and think about, what you call yourself or who you want to attract, because that's going to be important. And you'll hear that in the interview. So I'm going to wrap it up now. I'm going to invite down Kay to the kitchen table, and we're going to sit down and we're going to hear her story, and welcome her to the Polycule. So with that, I will bring her up. All right. So now we're getting ready to go right into the Polycules for the interview of the week. And this week I have someone that I've known for a while. We're going to hear her story. Just say hello, Kay.
Hello there, Calvin. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I am pretty awesome. Thank you. Can't complain at all.
Great. So I have to ask you, what is your sexuality?
I am a female.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Excuse that straight.
I am for the most part straight, and
Okay.
I dibble dabble every now and then.
Straight. Okay, so let's like bisexual, heteroflexible.
There we
Like that.
go.
Okay. All right. So, and then your pronouns are normal, her,
Yes,
she. Okay,
yes,
cool. All right,
absolutely.
great. So I guess we're gonna get right into it. I've known you for a few years. I kind of know your story, but it'll be great to hear it just from you. All right. So first, I'm gonna ask you, what do you call your ethical non-monogamy?
Oh God, that's a good question. I don't know that I have an exact word for my ethical non-monogamy. I just know that I am not a monogamous person. I know that I believe in being able to love more than one person at a time and connect with more than one person at a time.
Okay. So if so the basic definition, I'm gonna expand on this a little bit. So the
Okay,
basic definition of polyamory is many loves. So you
right.
said you believe in loving more than one person, but you don't want to call that polyamory?
Maybe I haven't been in the situation as of yet where I have had more multiple. Good question. Might have to start back on that one.
I'm just thinking about it because I think I was in the same place.
I think that yes, I would call it polyamory, but maybe I think I feel as if I haven't been in the perfect poly situation.
Okay. Okay. So I see what you're saying. So you're saying because you haven't actually been in a relationship or in love, I guess, with more than person, one person in a ship, you don't feel as though it's polyamory, or you don't feel that you can call yourself polyamory.
I don't feel that. I think
Just
that
think about
I
it.
think that
All right. All right. You know what? You know what? Hold that. Hold that. That's a good thing. It's good
okay.
that you're thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like this is what it's all about. This is basically why I'm doing this show because I think a lot of people haven't gone through this process and actually thought about exactly what their ethical non-monogamy is and what it looks like. You know what I mean?
You're
So,
right.
right.
I would like to say that it would be polyamory. I would like to say that eventually that is what I would want the relationship to be.
That's your goal. Okay.
That is my goal.
As a goal. Okay. So I guess want to go into the second question then. How did you come to that name, conclusion, or description? So this is about like how you were. So I'm gonna hold that. I'm gonna stick a pin in the question for a second. So you were married monogamously, right?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me about how you got from there.
Okay, so I was introduced into a group that was a poly group, and it intrigued me. And I started dating somebody in the group who was married, and um, he was the poly person again, and I was not. I was basically only dating him. That was how I started that was how I became a part of the poly world.
Okay. So you say you were only dating him. So
Yeah, that was for other reasons. That was for his own reasons that I was only dating him.
wait a minute. So I have to ask questions because so it was for his own reasons. So you were allowed to. Were you
He told
open?
me because it was my first open relationship that I should focus on one at a time. So that was,
How did you feel about that?
well, I didn't know that till a lot later. I just couldn't understand why nobody would hit me in my inbox.
Oh,
And then
okay, okay. So you were open to dating other people,
oh,
but
I
you weren't
was.
being approached.
Well, I was told by other people that he stopped them.
Okay, so you were restricted. So
Yeah,
it's
I
sort
was
of like
restricted.
we all know about the one penis policy. So you were basically on under OPP and didn't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty
Interesting.
much.
So let me ask you this then. You found that out later?
I found that out much later into our relationship.
Much later into relationship? Okay. So did that feel, so let me ask you this then. Did that feel like polyamory? Because I guess you still say your polyamory is your goal, and that was your first relationship. Did that feel like what you know is polyamory?
It didn't feel like what I want. It didn't feel like what I have seen from other people that I would like to get to. No, not at all.
Not at all? Okay.
No.
So that relationship ended?
Ended after about a little over a year.
So it was a year? Okay. All right. So 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 that relationship ended over a year ago, and since then it's
Not over a year ago. Oh yeah,
I
many
mean,
years.
no, it
Yeah.
ended years ago. But
Mhm.
since that time, I guess you've been moving in the polyamorous world?
Yes, I still talk to I have a huge poly circle that I am a part of. I have gone out on dates with. I now have a boyfriend in the poly world also.
Oh, congratulations.
We've been together for a little while now.
For a little while now? Oh, okay. Congratulations. That's good, right? It's not so you're allowed to date other people. It's not a OPP.
No,
You're
no, no,
open
no,
to
no.
date other people.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Is
Yeah.
does he have a girlfriend, or
Yeah,
is he married, or?
he is not married. He has a nesting partner that he lives with his kids, and he has another one as well.
Okay. So he has two other partners. So that's going well then.
We're having
So I guess going into the next question, what does that look like in your life today? So you're saying that things are kind of not ideal.
we're working through a lot of things.
Okay. So let me ask you this then. I guess I'm gonna ask you some things because one thing I know, or one thing I surmise, is that you say that you're still kind of. It seems like you've been in polyamory for a while, or in the life for a while.
Shoot, it's been at least over a good 7 years now.
For 7 years.
Something
So,
like
and your goal is polyamory. So, what are you doing to reach that goal of polyamory? How long How long you been in your current relationship?
I have known him. We have been friends for probably a good 4 years
Okay.
now. And we started dating maybe about a little over a year, maybe almost a year ago.
Okay, that's some time.
Um,
Is it long distance or local?
it is long distance,
Okay.
which makes it challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm sorry, what was the question that you asked me about?
So, how are you going to reach that goal of polyamory? Like you're saying, this is
Well,
long distance. It's
I
kind of
think
new
right
and
now,
got challenges.
the fact that I am fighting for this one shows that I'm trying to reach that goal of polyamory.
Okay.
I would like to make it to where, okay, here comes my dog.
Hey,
I would like to make it to where
what's her name or his name?
Nolly,
Nolly. Hey,
her name
Nolly.
is, yeah. Um, I would like it to make it where I am. I'm just now starting to date or get to know other people.
Okay.
So
Yeah, you really seem like a newbie. Like you're just
yeah.
really starting to find your way.
Well, I think because I don't have a circle where I live,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to travel to the circle that I love,
Mm-hmm.
and that makes it a challenge. And I don't have that circle around me.
Okay.
So I tend to kind of hold off on anything really until I'm out there.
Right.
And I'm trying not to do that anymore.
Why?
Because I would like to eventually have somebody here in the same city that I am in.
So, like a nesting partner. So you see yourself not as solo poly, you see yourself as wanting to, I guess, nest with someone, maybe a primary?
I would prefer to have a primary. I
Okay.
would prefer to have a primary, yes.
Okay. So are you still open to monogamy?
It'd have to be king of the crop.
It
It
has
would
to be
have to
king of the
be
crop.
something pretty amazing
Uh-huh. For it to
for me to
be
monogamous
okay.
monogamy again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically you are E&M. You're gonna be ethically non-monogamous. You see yourself living openly for
Yeah.
you prefer that freedom.
I don't prefer, see, I feel like there's a difference between being open and being poly. I do
Mm.
not consider myself to be an open person.
Oh
The
wow.
person I date considers himself to be an open person. I consider myself to be more poly. I feel like poly, or maybe the people that I have spoken with who I have seen how their poly works,
Mm-hmm.
they have kind of rules and boundaries, and it isn't just an open type of situation that I was in the first time.
All right.
And that I didn't like it.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So what you're
So I
saying
think
is
that's why I always have a problem trying to determine what it is, because I don't consider myself to be open.
okay. So you think it's more of like a like I think you're right about that. I think open being polyamorous does not necessarily mean you're open. I think a lot of people kind of confuse that. Like you could be polyamorous and want wait a minute. Now are we talking about openly like what? It's openly to physical connections or emotional connections? What do you mean by not open? Because when I say open, I mean like I'm open to connections. I'm not because me, I'm open to other connections, not open to hookups. I guess.
Well, I always hear people that when I see people who are open, it is more open to whatever they can be open to. And
Uh,
I'm not.
okay, me, I'm not either. I mean, I'm demisexual at this point, so I'm very slow, and it took me actually being very open to figure out exactly I didn't want that. You know what I mean? It took me going
Right.
through that type of life to understand that
Right.
that wasn't for me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I'm
So
very, I have to have some kind of connection with somebody at first. I have to get some kind of good vibe from you, some kind of good energy from you for me to have any interest in you whatsoever.
right,
So
right,
that for me takes a little bit of time.
right. But I also think that you're like, for me, like I know you, so, but just seem to be very like in the community, like tribal. So that would mean that if you were to actually connect with someone, would you want to connect with someone that would be sort of like able to connect with that tribe, that community that you're in?
Um,
Not someone that is of the community, someone who would be cool with you, like still traveling and doing all that stuff. Not somebody that want to pull you out.
yeah, I would definitely have to be with somebody that is comfortable with my circle and my tribe,
Hmm.
and and they are more than welcome to, to be a part of it,
Right,
to get to
right,
know them. I'm not going to try to keep them apart from each other.
right. So that's an interesting distinction, I think, when you said you're polyamorous but not open. I think I need to really think about that because I use that term all the time. I'm polyamorous, I'm open, but I think that what you're talking about is like open to whatever, not
Well,
necessarily open to like I'm open to. Hey, I'm
yeah,
open to I'm open to like connections, not necessarily open to anything. You dig what I'm saying?
yeah. Oh, I get what you're saying, and I can say that for myself too. But I don't say that. Like, I get what you're saying, and that's how I am too. But I
Hmm.
think in it that people say you're open, that means something totally different to them. You go
Hmm.
into the poly groups and you say open, and you get a dick pic in your email.
Oh,
It's kind of like,
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about the
That's
groups.
not what I meant.
Right, the groups are
So
something else. Yeah, that happens.
no, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
I,
so
I want to have that type of kitchen table poly. I like that. That's what
hmm
I see myself having at some point.
hmm I think you will. Yeah, I think you will. I see you really growing in the community. I think it looks good. You look happy these days.
I am going through hell in the community. What are you talking about?
Really? You want to talk on that?
So hard. No, it's just this shit ain't easy. It's just not easy.
Why? What's not
Accepting to
easy?
a
Tell me
lot of
some of the
things.
tell me some of the trials and tribulations. What's not easy?
What is not easy?
You still in the
Um,
groups?
I'm still in the groups. I'm not a fan of the groups too much. For me, the groups are just more about the physical and not about anything else but the physical.
hmm
And it becomes a turnoff. Um, if every post has to be primarily about sex, if every event is primarily on the sex, if it's kind of like that's not what I'm here for.
Right, right.
Like, hopefully, if we get to that point, great and dandy. But then, can I get a real name first? Like,
I mean, I left the groups for that reason too. Yeah.
yeah. And so I'm in there, and I don't participate much. I participate when I have something to express. I participate when I see some bullshit. I participate, uh, you know, I participate with the people that I know and the circle that I know,
hmm
and that's really it. But oh, see, now we're happening.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's
In the
okay.
long, it's not about. I don't feel like it is about. I think I just the things that bother me are, as far as being in a relationship, are just. I mean, anything that you would have in a monogamous relationship, I guess. Some of the insecurities, some of the. I think when it comes to poly relationships, you have to date people who are on the same thought process and beliefs as you.
Right.
And who I date, we are not at all. We bump heads and clash on a lot of our thoughts and beliefs because he is more open than I am. And working through that has been the challenge.
Okay. But you're working through it though, right? I mean, that's any relationship.
That's any relationship.
hmm
Absolutely. Yeah, we are definitely he's dealing with me.
So let me
Like,
dealing with you. So let me ask you this then. Okay, so
yeah,
that's interesting. You said dealing with you. So if you're dating someone, right, and they have someone, they're gonna be with someone. It's gonna be, but you're saying like you don't want them to be too open, like you flirty to, like if someone, like, let's say if you were dating someone and they were a swinger or they were a partier, would that be okay?
would that be okay?
Yeah, like if they just went out.
No, I don't want that.
Okay, so yeah, they would have to be pretty much not on that same. They would have to be trying to figure out
I
where your
he
line
was
is.
had their dick everywhere. How about
Uh,
that?
Okay, you don't want community date. You want
I don't want community dick.
okay, that
I
makes
don't.
sense. That
I've
makes
had
sense.
that already. I don't want that again.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So basically for you, you seem to be like trying to find your stride right now in polyamory. Basically,
I
your introduction to it, you seem like you had a rocky introduction to polyamory or to African
I think I had a
non-monogamy.
terrible introduction into poly. Only thing that came out of that benefit of poly is the circle that I met. I think I had a terrible introduction to poly because I saw it all based on lies. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see the other side of it. I see the other side of it. I'm trying to get over there.
Right, right. So they like put baggage on top of baggage. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
would come out of monogamy, come into
Yeah.
like open
Exactly.
relationships, ethical non-monogamy, and then get more garbage dumped on you, and then you gotta come out of that too. That's
Right.
ridiculous. That's
Right.
ridiculous.
Well, that's basically every relationship, really, coming out of something.
Yeah, I know, right? So maybe you just get to that point. You actually get into the point where you're coming out of. I guess you're dropping the baggage from all those previous relationships and those previous entanglements. You know what I mean? Because you look really happy now, from what I
Do
can
I?
see. I mean, from what I can see.
I am for the most part. I
Hmm.
mean, I feel like I am. I can I can say that he loves me unconditionally.
Okay, that's it.
Say that. Yeah,
That's it.
absolutely.
Okay. Well, you could build from there. All this other stuff you can just work out. You know, that's just regular relationship stuff, right?
Yeah, you got that right.
Hmm. And then you get ready for the next one and do it all again and keep it going. So, what would you think? You think you have an ideal number, or
Of how many partners I would like?
yeah, no, not what you like that you could actually handle. I don't know what that like question that you could actually handle. Do you think? Do you know? Because I don't think you really know, but do you think you know?
Um, I I would. My goal would probably be definitely a female in there.
Wait a
Um,
minute. You said like bisexual, hetero, flexible to definitely a female in there.
I would like to have a relationship with a female.
So, oh, so you're saying you're biromantic?
What these definitions? Y'all are
I
killing
mean,
me
you
with
can
these
you
definitions.
could be in a romantic relationship with a woman because that's what that relationship would be. Intimate,
Then, yeah,
romantic.
yeah.
Okay, that would be biromantic.
Right.
You're not
Okay.
hetero romantic. That means you be only in a romantic relationship with a man. If you could be in a romantic relationship with a woman, then you're biromantic. Okay,
Why can't
so
I just be romantic? Period. How about that?
okay, well then there'll be pan romantic. I mean that's cool too. Whatever you want. Okay, I like that. You're open.
Yeah, I just hate all the definitions for everything. Like, dang, the everything has to have a word for it. It kills me. It
Well,
kills
it
me.
helps to explain it to people who are coming into. You know what I mean? That's the only reason that it'd be hard to be on a podcast just saying like, well, I just want to do this. I mean, there's somebody who's not doesn't know anything about it. You know what I mean? Like there has to be like some words put to these things, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
understand what you're saying. Man, I
I
understand it exactly, but
do
that's only
you.
because I've been living it for a while. Yeah.
So let me ask you of a phrase because this one kills me too and drives me up a wall.
Okay.
Slut shaming.
Ah, yeah, yeah. What about it? Yeah, that's basically because society thinks that women shouldn't enjoy sex, or shouldn't go after sex, or shouldn't desire sex. So basically, men use that as a way to control women that they think are promiscuous or overly sexual. You know what I mean? Like,
So
there's no
if a
such thing as a
female
slut
is comfortable in her slutness, why would she care about being shamed? Or a man for that matter. You
because
get what
it's
I'm
how
saying?
we grow up. I mean, there's a
Like,
stigma. We all have to, we all deal with stigmas. We all deal with what we think is normal.
absolutely. We have stigmas being black, but we don't
Yeah.
have no black shaming going on. Like we don't have gay shaming
Yeah, you
going
do.
on. We
Yeah,
don't
you
have
do. Let somebody call you a nigga, and then you'll, then you know what I'm saying, you want to fight, right? You know what I'm saying? there's words that trigger emotion based on someone else using those words. So,
But if I'm calling myself a slut, I'm supposed to be offended if somebody else calls me a slut?
no, I mean, one of my favorite podcasts are Inner Whole Uprising. Young women in their 20s call themselves hoes. They call them, I'm a hoe this, hoe that, right? They're taking back the word hoe,
Right.
because they enjoy sex and they just talk about it. So
Right.
it's a matter of you not reacting to the word. So if you aren't slut shamed, if you like sex, then no one can shame you.
Right.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter what they say, no one should be able to shame you if that's what you are.
Right. That's
If
your
what you
work.
like.
That's
Right.
on you.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So don't be ashamed of your sluttiness. I don't. I mean, you just told me you were pretty slow, so I don't. Is that slutty? I don't. You don't seem like a slut to me.
Who, me? No, I'm not at all.
Mm-hmm.
No. But then again, I don't consider the fact if I like sex, I don't consider that me being a slut either, though.
You're not.
Maybe because I'm not having a whole lot of sex. Maybe
Right.
that's what I see as a difference. Maybe if I were having a whole lot of sex with a whole lot of different people, I would probably call myself a slut. But I would be happy to have a whole lot of sex with a couple of people.
Okay. Well, then work on that. Work on that. So that's just it, though. Do go for what you know. That's what I mean. Like, that's the only thing. A couple people. So that would be one man, one woman. Right? Or I'm just based on what you said. You said one man, you want a woman in the mix. So,
Yeah, I would be happy with two men actually. Not
Okay.
and two men and one woman. Shut up. Because it'd be nice to have somebody close by, and if not somebody close by, then just somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Because
So, what's wrong with California? That
that's a
you don't have anything local.
I don't have anything local. I can't. Number one, I don't go out a whole lot anymore, and I don't. When I go out, the men out here I'm not attracted to.
Okay.
They come around few and far in between.
So it's like a West Coast thing?
It is I don't know. When I just left Atlanta, it's starting to look a little scary out there too. So.
No comment. No comment. All right. So basically, you're doing your thing right now. You're basically coming into yourself, into your
I am slowly but
polyamory
surely.
self.
I am.
Because I think you were hostile to polyamory at one point,
Oh shoot.
from what I remember.
I mean, I think I still am at times now because of how I see it being used, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I think I still get hostile towards it.
So you say how
I
it's
think
being
people-
used? What do you mean?
I mean, I feel like people put everything under the term of polyamory when it shouldn't be. I don't think swinging is part of polyamory.
It's not.
I don't think
Open relationships aren't part of polyamory.
Right.
Right.
but everybody wants to put it under there, and it kills me.
Right. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast, to talk about the differences and to present the differences. And,
And we're so glad that you're doing this podcast now.
because there's so many people just, trying to do anything. You know what I mean? Because I admit, I came in through swinging. It took me some time to actually get to polyamory. But I think it was a good way. It was a good thing to do, to see the
And
differences.
I think a lot of people have come in through swinging, and they
Yeah.
do the swing poly thing, and that's fine and dandy. But then I feel like a lot of people focus more on the swinging part of it than the building of any relationship.
Right.
Like, then they don't want to have a relationship title. Then they're RA. Then they're just like, I feel like it's just all extra words for I just want to fuck and not have any titles and not have any strings or attachments or
No
anything like
commitment.
that, and go back to swinging.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, the one thing you need to do is definitely know your word. That's what these words are for, right? If you say I'm polyamorous, I'm into polyamory, then you know you're not into swinging. So if somebody send you a dick pic, this is not polyamory. You know what I mean? If somebody
Yeah.
start talking about sex and you just met them, this is not polyamory. You know
Oh,
what I'm
trust
saying? You
me.
just
I
speed
have
on.
I have learned.
Yeah, yeah. Just
Yeah,
cut that
absolutely.
shit out.
I mean, I think, that's why I think I stick with the folk I know, and I really don't. Really have no desire to do a whole lot of
Okay. Cool, cool. When you
branching
going
out as of right now.
to, okay. So when you going back to Atlanta?
Hopefully in October.
Okay. I'm gonna be down there.
Are you going to be down there?
I might. Let's see.
For what?
The anniversary / Halloween party thing. Okay, for our listeners, we were talking about some internal poly, black and poly community stuff. It's an interesting world. And no, you're not gonna fuck anybody up. All right, so Miss K, thank you for your time. Thank you for telling us your story. I think you're headed in the right direction. It's good to see you. Good to talk to you.
It's good to see you too, Calvin.
And I can't wait to
I
meet you.
I enjoyed being on here with you.
Do you?
I don't
All
know
right.
how exciting my story was, but
That was exciting. No, definitely. I get something out of every time I talk to someone. That polyamory and open thing. I have to think about that now because I use that term all the time. I'm open and poly. I'm not sure I'm
well,
open
see,
and
the
poly.
thing is, and then when you ask somebody, when people say, when you bitch about the way that they use the word open, and then you ask them in another post or another question, well, why do you consider yourself open? Then they'll turn it around and say, well, that means I'm just open to more relationships. That's not what you were saying.
Okay, my advice to everyone is if you're in a relationship, just get out the groups. Just get out. It's too
Man,
much. It's too much to
I'm telling you,
process.
because the groups are what's ruining folks.
Yeah, it's just too much.
Groups
It's too
are
much
what
stimulation. It's just
it's
too
too
much going
much.
on. It's just
Too many
it's just
lies
a
and words,
right,
and
right,
everybody in your business,
right,
and everybody
right,
giving BS advice,
right.
and
The
everybody
one thing I
screwing
noticed,
everybody. And huh?
the one thing I noticed is that if you want to most successful polyamorous relationships are not in the groups. They're outside the
They're not
groups.
on social media. About
They're
that.
just on social media, but they're not actually in the groups. They're out of the groups. So that's something. Um, this is something I noticed. I don't know, but
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
mhm.
I mean, that goes for any relationship, really.
Right, right. Just take some time and build, and then if you want to add somebody, then you come back. But take some time and build.
And
That's what you want.
share the bad. I think some people need to learn how to. Sometimes you have to share the bad to get to the good.
Right, exactly. That's another thing I learned too. All of it.
Yeah,
That's where you grow.
because exactly. Because Lord knows, ain't everybody doing everything right.
No, no, no. Because then you hear about after a while, anything blows up. Then you hear about it after it
Well,
blows up.
yeah, I mean, a lot of the couples that I came into this situation with are divorced or heading to divorce or
I'm one.
separated. And yeah, and it really, it saddens me
Hmm.
because,
Well, first off, divorce isn't a bad thing. All relationships aren't going to last. It's okay. But I think that if
sometimes divorce is a bad thing. Sometimes
okay,
divorce
I
is a
mean,
bad thing. And
it could be.
and a couple of the people that I have asked, especially a lot of the men that I have talked to in the divorce situations, when you ask them if you could do it all over again, would you have even gotten into this? And they all said no.
Hmm,
And I was kind of surprised by that.
hmm,
Like,
hmm.
this is not where they expected their relationships to end. Okay, Calvin, you might be different.
No, I find it interesting because I do because I always say a lot of people they say they're trying it. They want to try polyamory. They want to try this. This is something you can't try. It's something that you shouldn't try, especially if you're already married.
Agreed.
This is
Agree.
something that you should just be. You know what I'm saying? Then you're gonna
Agree.
do it.
I definitely believe that people are not just should not just try to be polyamorous. I think if
Right.
you are it, you have been it in shape or form all your life.
Mm-hmm.
You have
Yeah.
felt it. You have exercised it. You have not been able to be faithful. Whatever. Like,
Right. It'd be fake. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Then you decide to go into it. You know. But once you try it and regret, like I don't regret like the when I opened my marriage up, that gave us the extra 6 years because we were going to that it was going to end in that first year. It was going to end first year and a half. So by opening up our marriage, it gave us those 6 years, some good
yeah,
years.
but it was already going downhill when you all opened it up. Then,
Interesting.
so
Not going
if it's
downhill.
already going downhill, you
It
can't
was
bring
actually closing up. You know what I'm saying? Like our communication wasn't because I wasn't able to communicate with her and express my truths to her
Okay.
because I was realizing what happened in my first marriage. You know what I'm saying? That I had to shut people out, not talk about what I was doing at work, not talk about who I was with. She would get jealous because I'm in a club and I'm, you know what I'm saying, looking at somebody and all this type of
Right.
stuff. And I had to just like say, well, this is who I am. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. And that's how it came about. And those conversations started.
I think couples who jump into polyamory when their marriages are failing tend to fail anyway.
Right.
I think your marriage is supposed to be freaking solid as rock before you jump into polyamory.
I agree. And if we had gotten, because you know what, if like she always said, if I had known this before we had gotten married, we wouldn't have gotten married. So
right, exactly.
That's the truth. So, like I said, it gave us more years. It gave her a chance to experience some things that she wouldn't have experienced. It also gave me a chance to experience some things that I wouldn't have experienced.
Is she still poly?
I don't know. I avoid that with like the plague, man. I don't even answer her calls. I answer her emails when I call. Not that I don't want to. It's just like, nah. It's like that relationship is that relationship.
Yeah, I get it.
I think she went back to monogamy. She told me that she had a boyfriend. I talked to her like 2 Christmases ago, and she said she had a monogamous boyfriend, and he was really jealous because I said we can go to lunch, and she said like, well, I don't know, he gets jealous. I'm like, okay, that's what you want, go for that.
Right. She went back to the other side completely.
Yeah, but she told me that she says that in the end that she just imagined that we would get married and just be together, both of us, and all this other stuff was just too much. Which was true.
Right. Right.
So it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Stop looking sad. Why are you looking sad? All right, I'm in this. You're over there getting your emotions.
I hate to see folks break up. I hate to see marriages fall apart. That's all.
I mean, it didn't fall apart. It just changed. It didn't fall apart.
No. Yeah, they change, but they fall apart.
Yeah, I mean, but then you just keep moving. You know what I'm saying? New things happen. New things, you know what I'm saying? One door closes, another one opens. So walk through that door. I don't mind. What I always say is embrace the change. That's my motto. Embrace the change.
I'm going to have to remember that one.
Okay.
For real.
Okay. All right. I'm going to get lost in your eyes. All right. Gotta go. It's been great talking to you.
It has been great talking to you.
I really did appreciate this. I do appreciate this. Is our first time actually talking, so I do appreciate this. And it's my fault. This is our first time talking because all my stuff. But
no, I'm so proud of you.
Anyway, that's another conversation.
I know.
All right. So we'll talk later. I do appreciate you being on the podcast.
Wait, anything are we going to actually hang up now?
Well,
because I mean, you can.
You want? Hold on. Let me go ahead and phase this out. Then I'll come back to you in a second. Okay. All right. Hold on one sec, and then I'll be right back.
Okay. Am I hanging up?
No, just stay on. Hey, so I hope you enjoyed that interview. I really enjoyed it. I got a lot out of it. I think for me, what I think the most important thing I got out of that was basically just making sure that you know um, what you want, and especially if you're coming into this and you're getting with people that have been into it. That's why one thing I always say, I shy away from newbies because they don't really know what they want yet. Especially there are some that don't want to read; they just want to jump into this thing and go for what they know. And a lot of times, that's you have people like I always say, like there are wolves among us. There are people that are looking for newbies so they can manipulate them. Especially if you go into like BDSM or yeah, pretty much BDSM, any kind of kink or polygyny. Like some people thinking they're going into polyamory, they get into polygamy, all kind of things. You know what I'm saying? Like this, she didn't know. If you listen to it, she didn't know she was going to end up. She was an OPP, a one penis policy, meaning that the person she was with decided that since she was new, she shouldn't be with anyone else. you know, if that's what they agreed to, cool. But apparently it wasn't because she had to find that out from other people. So that was manipulation on my part, that I think, and I don't think that's cool. You know what I'm saying? So I think if you're gonna, first of all, make sure this is who you are. Like you heard. Make sure this is something make sure this is who you are, not something that you want to try. It's not something that you try. It's something that you do. And once you figure that it's something that you are, you can play with different things in ethical non-monogamy because you basically can't hurt other people and you get yourself hurt emotionally, physically, all that kind of stuff by not wanting to set your boundaries, by not learning how to listen to other people's boundaries, honor other people's boundaries. There's a lot of damage that can be done just by just trying this thing, and especially if you're in an established relationship, the damages can be irreparable, and you know. So take just listen to that. Just listen to the beginning of that, and just um, accidentally ended up in an OPP. I just don't. And see, I know the situation, and it kind of shocked me. But I'm not shocked because I already knew something like that was going on. But again, it did shock me. Another thing I got from that was the polyamory and open. I always say I'm open and polyamory and open. But I think what I'm hearing is there some type of disconnect on what exactly open means. So basically, I always tell everyone, and I think this has been a interesting thing for me to say. I always tell everyone that I'm a demisexual. I must have a connection, mentally to be spiritually, or emotionally or physically attracted to you and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not really rushing to get into sex, period. Especially if I'm sober. You know what I mean? Like, that's part of me now, right? I practice recovery. So I'm not really going to be like partying like I used to. So it's definitely going to be about an emotional connection because I'm not going to be, rolling around in the hay, getting drunk and all that kind of stuff just so we can, play around. So it's going to be very important for me just to follow, my truth at this point. So if I express that to people and I'm hearing something different, and that's a boundary, right? If people are telling me or trying to break my boundary, and this kind of happened in my last relationship, then that's a no. Oh, actually, last few relationships that I had, that's a no. That means I need to walk away, right? If you cross my boundaries or can't honor my boundaries or understand my boundaries, then you're not honoring my boundaries. I need to walk away. You know what I mean? Like, we could be friends. I kind of see where you're at. Maybe there's a later time for us. This isn't the right time, but just walk away. You know what I mean? So these words, and that's definitely something else I was talking to her too about, was, these words have meanings, and it's good to know the meaning of the words. Come to an agreement as to what that word means. So for me, open means I'm not actually what it means for me is I'm not fidelitous. Don't I'm not I don't ever want to like close the door on just possibilities, and for me those possibilities aren't always physical. They're mainly really emotional connections, and I kind of want to see where those always go. The physical, well, that comes and goes, and it's not what I'm talking about. So, and also for me, I always don't know. As I learn more and more, I kind of know more and more what I'm looking for. So, like I said, I'm not in the groups. I'm not participating in that level anymore. So I'm kind of like not really going to be exposed to that. So if you have people that are still in the groups, that open can mean something completely different, which it did for me when I was in the groups. It means that, and that's what happened. I kept meeting, when I was like, I was saying I was single. I'm single as fuck. But I still had, people still wanting to investigate and see what's going on. So I'm going to see. You're pretty. You look good. I'm going to, we're going to see what they do. And that wasn't exactly what I wanted at the time. And that was ended kind of strangely. So that's it for that interview. I really enjoyed talking to her. I hope you enjoyed it. I think she's a great person, and I hope I get to talk to her again on the show. If anything changes. So right now I'm going to go into future, accepting the change. We have to see about how this podcast is going to go, because I'm working now, and this interview, I had to stay up late to get this interview Sunday night because it was West Coast time and she was in California. And if I had to work today, that wouldn't have been cool. So I need to really, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it on a weekly basis because I definitely want to keep the interviews going. And I sent out like 4 requests for interview. I got 2 back, and 2 people didn't respond. And I don't really want to follow up. And I don't know why they didn't respond, because I kind of know them and I count them as friends. So I'm not sure why they didn't respond. So I'm going to leave that alone. And but I do have another interview next week, and I'm going to send out 4 more requests. But I might limit the shows to the interviews. So I might try to stack up interviews. If I have them, I might bring them. So it may be like some weeks I'm not here, but I'm definitely going to try to still get like 4 shows in a month, and definitely the recap shows. I think those are important for me. And I'm definitely going to keep the kitchen table, just talking about ethical non-monogamy and what it is, and compare that to what it isn't, and talk about why I think that ethical non-monogamy should be a legitimate choice for our relationship style, especially if you're not religious. I'm not religious, so I don't have any hang-ups about, fornication or adultery. Oh, adultery, that sucks. Don't do that. Don't be a cheating piece of shit. Don't cheat. If you gotta cheat, get out. That's what I say. So don't commit to monogamy if you're not going to honor monogamy. Monogamy is a legitimate choice. So anyway, yeah, I got a job. I start on Monday. I'll be in New York on Thursday, come home on Friday. So I have an interview to record, another one. It'll be very interesting. I can't wait to talk to this guy. It's a guy this time, so stay tuned for that. I think it'll be a great interview. And I guess I should share. I accepted, or I'm talking to someone new. I'm going to see where it goes. This is someone who I've been interested in for a while, but I didn't have the capacity, or I guess I didn't have the time to invest in getting to know her. I guess whenever I get another job, I'm going to go do on a new adventure. I'm like, okay, we can open up and see what's going to happen. So we'll see where that goes. So she's kind of long distance. She's actually in the DMV, but like on the outskirts, like an hour outside. So we'll see how that goes. She's polyamorous. I'm not sure really she's new or not, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm open to seeing what happens, and I'll let you know what's going on. So, thank you for listening. Remember, you can listen to this show on. Oh, if you're listening, you already know, but the show's on Spreaker. That's where I host the podcast. You can listen to it on Stitcher, Apple Podcast, or iTunes, iHeartRadio. I'm working on Spotify. So those are the places you can hear the show currently. I guess I should do Google Play. I guess I'll look on submitting to that too. But those are the places that you can hear the podcast posted weekly. I'm Calvin, or CPJR, known as the Melancholy Guy. You can find me, the Melancholy Guy, on Instagram, the Melancholy Guy on Facebook, the Melancholy Guy on Twitter. You can just look those up and you'll find the Melancholy Guy podcast. I appreciate you listening. Please rate, subscribe, comment if you like, or if you don't, it's all good with me. So basically, again, I say thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys next week at the kitchen table, and we can talk about some more ethical non-monogamy. So with that, always remember to love and respect yourself first, and everything else will take care of itself. Peace